Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving deep into the world of construction, specifically focusing on the foundations of large buildings. Because without a solid foundation, none of that other stuff matters much. We're talking dirt, concrete, steel, and some of the biggest engineering challenges you can imagine. So, buckle up, grab your hard hat, figuratively of course, and let's get our hands dirty as we explore the fascinating world of building strong foundations, the unsung heroes of every skyscraper. You ever try building a sandcastle on top of a pile of jello? Not gonna end well, right? Same principle applies to skyscrapers, only instead of jello we're talking about the ground itself. See, the weight of a skyscraper is absolutely immense, millions, sometimes billions of pounds pressing down on whatever's underneath. If the foundation isn't up to snuff, the building settles unevenly, cracks start to appear, and the whole thing can become a very expensive disaster. That's why understanding the soil, the bedrock, and the water table is job number one for any foundation engineer worth their salt. Think of it like a doctor examining a patient. They need to know what they're dealing with before they can prescribe the right treatment. You gotta know what kind of dirt you're working with, clay, sand, rock, and how it's going to behave under pressure. Soil can be sneaky. It can change from one side of a building site to the other. That's why they do these things called soil borings, where they drill down deep and pull up samples to analyze. Without that crucial information, you're basically building blind. So, you've got your soil samples, now what? Well, those little tubes of dirt get shipped off to a lab where they're poked, prodded, and analyzed within an inch of their lives. These soil scientists, they're like the Sherlock Holmes of the dirt world. They're looking at things like particle size, moisture content, and something called bearing capacity, which is basically how much weight the soil can handle before it says uncle. They're also checking for things like groundwater levels, which can really throw a wrench in your plans if you're not careful. This whole process, it's like putting together a puzzle. You've got your soil samples, your site surveys, your geological maps, and you're trying to build a complete picture of what's going on underground. Once they've crunched all the numbers and analyzed all the data, they can finally start designing the foundation. Every building, every site is unique. Alright, so we know why strong foundations are important and how engineers figure out what the ground can handle. Now let's talk about the different types of foundations themselves. First up, we got your shallow foundations. These are your bread and butter, used for smaller buildings or when you're lucky enough to have good soil conditions. Think of it like laying a concrete slab directly on the ground. Simple, effective, but only if the ground can handle it. Then you've got your deep foundations. We're talking about going down, down, down to reach bedrock or more stable soil layers. Imagine driving giant concrete pillars called piles deep into the earth. Raft foundations, where they basically build a giant concrete raft to distribute the weight over a wider area. Mat foundations, which are like supersized slabs for really heavy buildings. The type of foundation they use depends on a bunch of factors like the size and weight of the building, the soil conditions, the water table, even the budget. Now let's talk about the workhorse of modern construction, reinforced concrete. You see, concrete by itself, it's strong under compression, but put it under tension, and it crumbles faster than a stale cookie. That's where steel rebar comes in. Imagine embedding a grid of steel bars within the concrete. The steel gives the concrete the tensile strength it desperately needs, allowing it to bend without breaking. This magical combination of concrete and steel is what makes modern foundations so darn strong. These reinforced concrete foundations, they're complex structures with all sorts of components. Everything from the type of concrete to the spacing of the rebar is carefully calculated and inspected. It's a testament to the skill of the engineers and the construction crews who bring these massive structures to life. Sometimes the ground is just too soft, too unstable to support a shallow foundation. That's when you gotta bring out the big guns pile foundations and drilled shafts. Imagine driving giant concrete or steel pillars deep into the earth, sometimes hundreds of feet, until they reach bedrock or a more stable layer. Drilled shafts, on the other hand, are like giant holes in the ground, filled with concrete and reinforced with steel. They're often used when you need extra support for really heavy buildings or when you're dealing with difficult soil conditions. Now, driving piles or drilling shafts, it ain't for the faint of heart. But when you're building on swampy ground or in earthquake-prone areas, it's often the only way to go. These deep foundations, they're the unsung heroes of many a skyscraper. They provide the stability and support that allows these buildings to reach for the sky. The world of foundation engineering is always evolving. New materials, new techniques, new challenges. It never gets boring down in the dirt. One of the coolest things happening is the use of ground improvement techniques. Instead of just working with what nature gave you, engineers are finding ways to actually improve the soil itself. They can inject it with special grouts that make it stronger, denser, more stable. And then there's the whole world of digital modeling and analysis. With computers, engineers can create incredibly detailed simulations of how a building will behave on a specific site. This kind of technology is revolutionizing the way we build foundations. It's making them stronger, safer, and more sustainable. Well, there you have it, a glimpse into the often overlooked but always essential world of building foundations. We've seen how engineers tackle the challenges of soil, weight, and gravity to create the bedrock of our built environment. Next time you marvel at a skyscraper, remember it's not just about what you see above ground, but also about the ingenuity and hard work that lie beneath the surface. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on construction and engineering. See you next time.